What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3. This is going to be a Division 1 Asia game. Going to be between MiTH on the Radiant and Mineski on the Dire. We are HeflaTV. I am Mike Loris, and I'm joined by Grandis V.
Hello. Yeah, not a whole lot to talk about as far as the draft is concerned, as it really hasn't gone underway, but both of these teams should be able to put up a pretty good fight, and I'm expecting some good games.
Yeah, just quickly looking at the records against each other, MiTH have had quite the upper hand as far as what's on Join Dota. It's been 15-7 in favor of MiTH. So, good luck, Mineski. Apparently, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them, but hey, it's always fun to see an underdog win and take a game, so always rooting for the underdog, but really I haven't seen these teams play not for a very long time, actually. I remember I used to watch these guys play over on Luminous's old Dota 1 channel. That was like eons ago, but it's been quite a long time since then, and I think most of these players are not the ones that used to be on these teams.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Usually I'm either sleeping or casting while they're playing, so don't get to see them very often, but we do get to see them now, and, well, into the draft we go with Lycanthrope Viper banned out by Mineski, and the bans coming out from MiTH will be Faceless Void and Razor, with the first pick Brewmaster. No big surprises, but Scarth Mage, Shadow Shaman, pretty much every support you could think of is still left in the pool.
Yeah, it's pretty vanilla right now. Doom is also in the pool. All of those heroes have great tools against Brewmaster, and that if you are that Brewmaster, you have to be careful of silences, and well, instead of going for any of those heroes, looks like they will go a completely different direction, pulling a little bit something different out of the hat. That's not to say that these heroes are too weird or anything, just seeing them this early is what's strange.
It really is. I think Centaur Warner and Rubik are quite a bit weaker than their counterparts. The Centaur Warner is great for single target initiation, but not the best for controlling up a Brewmaster. His War Stomp is pretty long as far as cast animation is concerned, and having the instant initiation from something like a Hex from the Shadow Shaman or the instant silence coming out from the Skyrath Mage, I think would function better than the Rubik's Lift. But I don't know. They have some decent tools, and not to say that these are bad heroes. And if the fight goes long enough, Brewmaster's ultimate is a very easy ultimate to steal coming out from the Rubik if he's not focused down during the duration, which usually he is.
Yeah, Centaur, I would say, is a little bit weaker than Doom as far as shutting down Brewmaster and in play in general. Of course, once Centaur does get his Blink Dagger, then he'll be able to jump in and pretty much 100-0 Mirana, almost insta-kill the Brewmaster. If he has a little bit of help, he'll be able to do it. So they're going to be looking to take the fight to the Brewmaster, not let the Brewmaster get his Blink initiation in where he really wants. It's going to be Mineski who want to start the fights, because if they don't, then the split is just going to wreak havoc among the Mineski side. Now, they do have a Rubik. To steal a split from Brewmaster could be very devastating, though it is a little bit difficult. First of all, you have to survive the entire split, which is really where the hard part comes in. But if he does, it's a really nice spell to steal. If he steals Arrow, it would also be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, there's very few games where Rubik's like an outright bad pick. In lane, he's a pretty solid support. With the right backup behind him, you can roam around with him. And there's almost never bad spells in the game. Like, it's very hard to actually pick a lineup that's good, that doesn't have anything useful for the Rubik.
Yeah, and Rubik has that setup stun, so if Mineski really want, they could keep the Skyrath Mage in the pool and then pick it up straight after. The damage combination between the Rubik and Skyrath Mage, add a Centaur on top of that, and then you're going to be able to blow up people very easily, especially when you amplify the double edge with the seal. Oh man, that hurts a lot.
Yeah, it really does, and I don't think there's very many heroes that can actually survive against that. I don't know, especially not if they have a large amount of farm. At the early portions of the game, that combination is absolutely devastating once they both get their level 6s. Mineski are taking quite a lot of time for this next ban. It makes sense since they have the last ban as well as the first pick in the next stage, so they're kind of thinking about both of these at the same time. What to take out of the pool and what to pick up for themselves. Doom, Tinker, Shadow Demon are all taken out. They might consider banning out the Bane as well, although I think it's the lesser as far as setups for the Mirana Arrow, and I'd probably be more scared of the Earthshaker unless they want that for themselves.
Yeah, Shaker, Shaman, and Skyrath all in the pool, and I would say probably Skyrath is the strongest for Mineski, with Shaker, Shaman being about tied. I don't know, the distinction between those heroes in this particular lineup is very minimal. They're going to kick out the Shaker, so they have a nice selection here. Skyrath would be better for Mineski, but if they pick that, then the Shaman would be a lot better for MiTH, so it's like which poison do you want to take?
I think really the choice here for Mineski was which support are we giving away, not which one they're picking up for themselves. I think the Skywrath Mage is pretty much what they want to pick up, just because it synergizes so well with the Centaur Warner, as well as in the Rubik. Like, you can get in range very easily for the lift with that, and he does a decent amount of damage. Instead, they go for something completely different in the Leshrac, a pretty solid supporting duo, but do you think we're going to see the Leshrac farming coming up from Mineski?
I don't know. Rubik Leshrac is really, really nice, but the difference between the Leshrac and those other supports that we were listing off is that Leshrac doesn't really do great versus the Brewmaster unless someone else jumps in first. You could have the Skywrath Mage open up or the Shadow Shaman open up on a Brewmaster and then have everyone else follow straight after. If your Leshrac is the first one in, most likely it's not going to pan out well. MiTH Trust, they pick up a support to partner with their Mirana. Could be a core Mirana, could not be. As far as this Leshrac, it's hard to tell whether or not he's going to get lots of farm. You probably don't want to really farm Leshrac against Brewmaster, I want to say, just because you won't be able to do anything versus the split.
Yeah. I don't know. Then again, it might be nice to have like an early BKB in your Leshrac so that he's able to focus on the other heroes without really bothering with the Brewmaster. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I think this is just going to be a support Leshrac, though. Nature's Prophet, the next pickup for Mineski. It gives them another pseudo setup for the Split Earth coming out from Leshrac, as well as just a pretty solid all-around hero. But this is going to change up the lanes quite a bit. I think this is going to be a solo safe lane Nature's Prophet, and they potentially go aggressive, but even if they don't, the Centaur Warner doesn't really feel like he fits very perfectly into this game.
Yeah, right now, Mineski, they're all about the setup. They can run a pretty devastating Leshrac Rubik War Runner lane. Killing Mirana is going to be a little bit difficult because of Leap, but they have a lot of burst damage if they do find openings on her. The push from Mineski is really where they're going to be trying to take control of this game, though. Leshrac, if he does go for, hell, just even 2 points in Edict is fine. Get the Nature's Prophet to summon some dudes, and MiTH Trust, they don't really have that much AoE to deal with this. Most of their damage is single target, so if they could take a couple of towers, and they could definitely ride that into a lot of momentum. Also, they'll have a relatively easy Roshan, not much minus armor or anything like that, but just Edict and Treants makes it relatively safe. MiTH Trust, their fourth pick is going to be that Ember Spirit. Currently doesn't know what he's going to be up against, and it's very easy to lock down Ember Spirit in a 1v1 mid lane.
Yeah, it really is. Ember Spirit is a quite weak laner, especially against ranged heroes. And, I don't know, there is very many heroes that Mineski could pick up. This could also be a mid-Nature's Prophet if they want to go for the off-lane Centaur. I don't know, that matchup's not terrible for either hero. Nature's Prophet may be slightly favored. I don't know. It's an option.
Well, Death Prophet going to get the boot now as Mineski do ban out the Weaver. So, yeah, MiTH Trust, they have a little bit of lane flexibility, but I would say Mineski have just a little bit more. Nature's Prophet can go anywhere. They could run tri-lanes, or they could even run dual lanes if they really, really wanted to. It would be interesting to see. I don't think it's too realistic, though, so MiTH Trust, they have a little bit of juggling between Ember Spirit and Brewmaster, and it looks like they're just going to pick up a DK. It's not a hero that demolishes the Ember Spirit or the Brewmaster, but it's also a hero that doesn't lose that lane, so, you know, pretty much 50-50 lanes there.
And it is going to offer more to their pushing power. With the level 6 coming out from the Dragon Knight, they'll be able to mow down the towers very effectively. Yeah, I don't really see this Dragon Knight dying in lane. Maybe once Ember Spirit gets level 6 and he takes just too much damage from Sleight of Fist spam. I don't know, that's probably not even the build we're seeing from the Ember Spirit. I don't know, unless there's rotations towards mid, I think that lane is going to be fairly passive. But yeah, it looks like we are going to see an aggressive tri-lane coming up from Mineski, or at least that's what I'm going to expect coming up from this Rubik and Leshrac. At least a lot of roaming.
Yeah, it's a devastating tri-lane for them. MiTH Trust, Bane Mirana is a very heavy roaming support combination. Nightmare setup into Arrow, especially when you're going to be ganking into the solo lanes with probably a DK, probably a solo Nature's Prophet. There's no one to take the Nightmare off of that, so they're most likely going to hit with that long stun. And when you have that much time to wail on a player, it doesn't really matter who they are because they're probably going to go down at the end. And MiTH Trust, they're still going to look for one more core, if not another support to run the Mirana as the core. Don't really think it'll make that much of a difference, but it's actually going to be a Darkseer. So, going to get a little bit more team fight on the boards. Mirana is definitely going to be played as that roamer. And Darkseer as the last pick is pretty nice with Ember Spirit.
Definitely, especially once Ember Spirit gets up those levels up into the Sleight Fist as well as the farm once you get Battle Fury as well as crit. If you can get multiple people inside the vacuum, that can be absolutely devastating. The other synergy with the Darkseer, there's very little, but vacuum into arrow definitely can work out, although that's a little bit harder to pull off. Yeah, I don't know, I was not expecting the Darkseer by any means.
Yeah, MiTH Trust, I mean, they will be able to put out some pretty serious late game damage, assuming this Ember Spirit does get a little bit of farm, so if not, then they're going to be under a lot of pressure. And Darkseer is a hero that deals okay with early pressure, but there are definitely heroes that can handle it just a little bit better. But let's see how these lanes are going to shape up before anything else. On the MiTH Trust side, we got Noki playing the Bane on the bottom lane with MyPro on the Brewmaster. It's a Brewmaster tri-lane. Interesting. It's going to be SD on the Mirana. Up on top, we got the Darkseer played by Kaneki, and then mid lane is going to be Lakel's on the Ember Spirit.
On the side of Mineski, starting out with 4 heroes smoked up, going towards the enemy side, looking for first blood potentially. We have Playhard playing on the Rubik Jacko. On the Dragon Knight, that is going to be Joven on the Nature's Prophet, Jesse Bash on the Lestrak, which will leave Oa on the Centaur Warner. I don't think they're actually going to find anybody. The smoke is going to wear off, but they'll be able to drop some wards down here if they so choose. A lot of time used by these heroes, but I don't think anything's really lost with the exception of that smoke.
Yeah, so it looks like just with the itemization that the DK is going to be going to the mid lane. The Nature's Prophet with the boots opening is usually what you see in the off-lane Nature's Prophet. Solo safe lane, kind of unnecessary since you're already so close to the tower. Regardless, we'll keep him relatively safe versus the Darkseer. And, well, this is a really old matchup, Darkseer versus Nature's Prophet, and it really comes down to how does the Nature's Prophet manage his treants, and how does he manage the aggro of the Ion Shell creeps.
Yeah, I'm going to expect him to do just fine in this matchup, and, well, especially if there's a kill in another lane with an Invis Rune on the Rubik, this definitely could set up for a kill onto Lakel's here. They're roaming into Lestrak very slowly, but a lift into the Dragon Tail, and there we go, lift back into Jacko. They're going to get the Dragon Tail, now the follow-up splitter. There's nowhere he's going to be able to go, and he will fall.
Now, unfortunately, they couldn't give the first blood gold to the Dragon Knight, but hey, Rubik with boots from the get-go is always going to be very useful, and DK with the loadout that he has selected for himself means that he's going to get the bottle anyway, so pretty big win there as they do set up on the bottom lane. Ooh, my bad, guys. Missed that one. A Centaur, Nightmare, Arrow, Clap. It's a lot of damage, especially if you do get that setup. Centaur is tanky, but by far not invulnerable.
Yeah. It is going to be a pretty solid kill coming out from either sides, although MiTH Trust, or rather Mineski, are going to be happy with how it panned out for them, as that's going to give their solo lane a lot better time, as well as giving the first blood as they go up top. They're going to lift up the Darkseer into the Split Earth, and I think he's going to die as well. The right clicks are going to be there. Nature's Prophet picks him up the kill this time.
Darkseer surged and ran north instead of trying to run through the Rubik and the Lestrak. But then again, that's just the power of having a targeted stun in the telekinesis. The Darkseer, if he did run straight south trying to get to his base, lift up into Split Earth, and it would have been just a really, really easy kill. And unfortunately for him, the Observer Wards came at a little bit too late. Like, the fact that he does have an Observer Ward was a little bit too late. And now it's going to help him just a little bit more, but the telekinesis is not going to happen this time. Darkseer is going to be really scared on that lane, but really, the Centaur is going to be just as scared, if not more so. But Mirana and Bane, they're going to open up on the mid lane. Nightmare, Arrow, perfectly aligned. That's going to be a nice long one. And with the right-click damage, it should be enough to kill the DK. Who's going to get the last hit? It's going to be Ember.
Yeah, striking back in the mid lane. It's going to make this a lot more even. As far as CS is concerned, it is exactly even. Now with Ember Spirit picking up a little bit more room. But yeah, these supporting duos have just done a lot of work with rotating. With the Haste Run on the Bane, they might be able to pick off this Nature's Prophet up top if he's not careful.
Nature's Prophet doesn't have any summons to get in the way of that Arrow line, so this Bane should be able to set a pretty easy kill if he gets this Nightmare. But he gets juked in the shadows. There's the Arrow, and they still can do this. There's the Arrow and the Ion Shell level 2. Right click. That's going to be yet another trade. They did bring down someone else. Lestrak killed Lakel's again. Okay, it's literally impossible to keep track of all these kills.
It is, because both of the supports are on opposite sides of the map and going at the same time. It's just so much aggression. From the Bane Mirana as well as Rubik and Lestrak, you really don't expect much else. And yeah, the lift into Splitter, Nightmare into Arrow, it's really solid at getting these kills, and they're neck and neck right now. Both of the supports doing a lot of work.
We might see these supports finally run into each other as SD, well, he's going to spot out Playhard. He has an Arrow, but firing that with the Treant and the in the way, probably not the best of ideas. Of course, all this support rotation. Oh, they're going to go for it anyway. There's a split earth, a little bit of body block from Playhard. Well done. Lightning to slow him down. The right clicks this time, not going to be enough, and he's slow on the tango. I would have thought for sure he would have gotten out, but now Playhard taking an arrow to the dome. SD's going to leap forward for this one, but this means the Mirana doesn't have an escape, especially when she gets split earthed. Rubik lives at 9 HP, and Nature's Prophet gets a double kill off of that one. Oh, that was
really
quite a nice split earth.
Yeah, it really was. Jesse Vash has impressed me with his split earths this game, and yeah, once the supports met up with each other, it's Mineski that come out on top. They actually get a pretty solid advantage. That play from the Mirana, she is a support Mirana, so going for that, it would have worked out even if she died afterwards. But now, speaking of the Mirana, they're smoked up, going down towards bottom. They're just not going to stop roaming, and it looks like Centaur might get caught out here.
He just bought up his Tranquils, though, so he pretty much has no gold to lose. It will be a very easy setup. There's the Nightmare, there's the Arrow. They already used the Clap, however. I think the right-click damage should be more than enough, and the Stomp is not going to hit all three of them. Just going to hit the Brewmaster. Bane gets the kill there, and it looks like there's this time not going to be any kill happening somewhere around the map. But after all these supports roam, at the end of the day, it's going to be Jacko getting a slight lead in the mid lane. Centaur, though he did die twice, got a lot of free time in order to recover against the Brewmaster. And Nature's Prophet 3-1, he's going to be sitting pretty happy at that. So MiTH Trust, their supports are getting most of these kills in the, well, Bane has 2-0-2, and they're going to go again for the mid lane, actually. That Flame Guard making it very difficult for them to knock through it, and, well, Ember Spirit's going to slip away, and he has support incoming. But still, 4-5, and this game is pretty action-packed, and it looks like it's not going to stop because Bane Mirana, they are around the mid lane.
Yeah, it's just absolutely non-stop roaming coming up from these supporting duos. Nature's Prophet, with the 3 kills that he's already gotten, is going to have a sub-6 minute MiTH. Actually picked it up before 5. So his farm is going to accelerate very quickly, and that's going to make this lane actually a little bit easier. If you save that MiTH, you can drop it on the Ion Shell Creep immediately. It's not super significant, but it is going to help a little bit. But yeah, down in bottom, Rubik and Leshrac, and over in mid, Bane and Mirana, they're smoked up, but Dragon Knight is back inside his own jungle.
This is a tough kill to have on the Brewmaster. They have to chain stun perfectly, but they get the lift off, they get the stomp off, they'll get the split earth as well, and that's a perfect chain stun right there with the Wrath of Nature sealing the deal. Easy kills, but Jacko gotta bail that courier out because he's gonna get hit with an arrow, and then right clicks, but Lakel's a little bit late to the party. He's gonna come in with the Searing Chains regardless. This is going to be a 1-for-1 again. Noki getting himself a killing spree. Bane gonna be swimming in the gold, but might have to worry about some towers now. Actually, no, Jesse Vash only has 2 Split Earth, 2 Lightning Storm, so not much tower pushing potential with this hero. But Nature's Prophet will teleport in, summon some dudes, and then try to take this tower. At the very least, force MyPro out of the lane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a build that's nice to see out of the Leshrac. Usually has support Leshrac that's just ignoring the Lightning Storm, at least this early on, but it's going to give them a lot of damage when they go for these ganks, so I don't know, it definitely could work out, but it's not going to be without a trade as they're putting some pressure on the top tier 1 of their own, as MiTH Trust dropped that down to about a third, and now looking towards half as Darkseer is cutting the creeps, and looks like it's just going to be a straight up trade, as nobody's really coming down to help out MyPro.
DK does have his level 6, so Mineski could put even more pressure on this tower. Brewmaster, he probably shouldn't die. The Rubik and Leshrac, they're both pretty far to the north, so unless MyPro gets super greedy with the clap, he's probably just going to get stomped, although Centaur is currently out of mana for stomping, so MyPro should be just fine to hold this lane. In the meantime, topside, it will be pecked down, and let's see who's going to claim this tower. It's going to be the Mirana, it's going to be the Bane. This Bane is going to be filthy rich. He's going to get his Arcane Boots if he really wants to, but Mineski, well, they're stalled up on the bottom lane. They really want this tower, obviously, but they have 4 heroes down here that are pretty much doing nothing but sitting and waiting.
Yeah, if somebody shows their face, they could lift them and then chain stun them very easily, so they'll eventually get it. MyPro is going to poke his head out. He has his ultimate, and he'll be fine. Just backs off towards his tree line, and that's going to be a kill on the tower for the Nature's Prophet, so a lot of gold going his way. Hand him MiTH power treads, and now 1,000 gold on top of that. He's swimming in the gold. Oh,
this is going to be a scary Nature's Prophet. This Orchid is going to come really quickly. It's a fantastic item versus the Brewmaster, versus the Darkseer, Ember, and Mirana, really. Whoever you slap that silence on, they're going to be really hurting because there are so many skills that are, MiTH Trust are relying on to escape. And, well, speaking of, Lakel's going to need one of those skills right now. Doesn't have a spirit set up, but if this fight actually does get going, it will be almost a full 5-on-5. Centaur War Runner is going to spot out everyone in the back end, and now It's going to be MiTH Trust, slightly surrounded. Centaur will close in. Stampede is there, but he instantly gets Nightmare. Regardless, Noki's going to get hit with the Split Earth and the Breathe Fire. That's going to be one down. SD now going to get dragged back. Lakelz is in the area with an Ion Shell. That's a ton of magical damage. If he can get close enough for a chain, I think he can, and he probably will be able to. There's the burn onto Play Hard. In the meantime, bottom side, they're going to kill off Brewmaster before getting the split off. Lakelz did kill off the Rubik, but is it worth it? Mineski, now the Nature's Prophet, going to get the nice sprout into Ember Spirit. It's going to jump out, though. And actually, no, he has no mana. He's still, though, very healthy, and he will turn around, kill off the Nature's Prophet. It's a double kill for the Mirana. And overall, Mineski, they lose 3 heroes. They get 2, I think. They only get 1? Do they only get 1, really?
I thought they got 2.
No,
I don't
they
know.
got 2. They got Bane.
Yeah. I don't know, Arrow going to land on a creep in mid, and that Ember Spirit just doing so much damage with the maxed out Flame Guard as well as the Ion Shell at level 4. That just shredded through even the heroes like the Dragon Knight. They were forced back. There was a really sick section of chain stunning going the way of the Brewmaster. They interrupted his animation coming out from his ultimate like 3 times, and they were able to get the kill on him before he got that ultimate off, which was actually huge. They would have lost that fight even worse had they had that available.
Well, that fight going slightly the way of MiTH, but only very slightly. This game is relatively even. I mean, the gold earned is less than 500. Experience earned 1,500 in MiTH's favor. It's really not going to mean all that much because Nature's Prophet is still getting a ton of farm, and you really can't stop a Nature's Prophet from farming, not ever, and then especially not when he has a hand of MiTH. So Orchid's going to be a pretty quick pickup from him, and well, Mineski, they have pushed down 1 tower, but that's pretty much it. I expect them to very shortly do the exact same thing, because still they have the Corrosive Dragon. They don't have any... Oh, they do have 1 point in Edict, and they have 3 points in Nature's Call, so the pushing is going to be a lot stronger. And MiTH, well, they still have Brewmaster to fight, so Mineski might want to respect that just a little bit, but in the meantime, mid lane, Jacko gets hit with an arrow. Stampede not available, so he can't run out of there, but Noki can take a lot of stun duration, and he will slip away as well. Vash looking for the lightning kill. It won't happen. Here comes the Centaur with the stomp onto Lakelz. Double Edge will kill him off, though. Drop the Centaur very low. Vash will burn to the urn. It looks like he will go down in the end. Mirana gets a killing spree off of that. 2 for 2 in this mid lane. MyPro still wants to use this ultimate, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. The coordination coming out from both of these teams has been pretty on point. That was a chains into the arrow coming out from the Mirana, and they were able to get the Dragon Knight to start that off. But then again, Mineski, they were able to fight back, and it's just so back and forth in these little engagements. I'm glad that we're seeing a pretty close game, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Let's see. We have a haste rune picked up by the Darkseer. Probably just going to sit on that one as he doesn't have really enough mana to do much. He'll Ion Shell one of the creeps and get himself a CS with that as the Centaur drops a Double Edge in the jungle. It gets himself low, but he'll be able to walk back to base.
Bane isn't quite at that level 6 mark just yet, so he's the lowest hero on the map, and he would really like his Fiend's Grip. Just getting that to lock down whoever might be slipping away, or you could Fiend's Grip the person who's not hit with the arrow, and then usually that will result in 2 kills instead of just 1. So MiTH got to be sure to get this Bane a little bit more experience. It's remarkable that he has 3 kills, 5 assists, but he's only level 5, whereas everyone else is at least level 6.
It's mostly because of the experience has been shared between usually 2 or 3 heroes for each of those kills, if not more. So yeah, he hasn't been sitting in lane hardly at all, and all of that experience is from the kills, and yeah, it is actually pretty surprising to see him not have his level 6. He's getting close, and probably one more fight will do it, as they might go up in top. They don't get any lockdown. There's the Sprout after the Surge comes out from the Darkseer. Do they have the damage with the Breathe Fire? I'm not sure. There's a Nature's Prophet ultimate. They should be able to chase him down, or will they? He's pretty darn fast. They have enough movement speed on the Dragon Knight, but another Surge coming off the cooldown. Not going to dive that as the Ember Spirit actually comes in. Now the chains, arrow to flight, it's going to land on a Jacko, just clips him in the tail, and I think Jacko is going to fall because of this one. A very nice arrow coming out for the Mirana.
In the meantime, their mid lane is taking quite a bit of damage, but taking that Dragon Knight kill, plus getting away with the Darkseer. That was Mineski slightly misplaying it. They layered the Sprout, which was acting as a pure disable, and the Dragon Tail. Now teleportation coming in. It's going to be Lakelz. There is Moonlight Shadow, though, and there is no sentry or detection at all for the Mineski side. They get the tower, but they're forced to back off, but they're going to go for a wraparound. They're all smoked up. Dragon Knight can join the fight relatively soon, but looks like they just want to get the jump on MiTH by going in through the back. Brewmaster is once again going to be the #1 focus for Mineski. The double damage rune onto Leshrac, that will help, but they need to kill off MyPro. If they let the split get out, it'll be disastrous for them, or at least it'll be a lot worse than the previous fights. It's going to be a really delicate situation here, but Nature's Prophet up on top lane is pushing that one out, so if Mineski stall out here, it'll be beneficial to them.
Yeah. Well, we're just waiting for anything to jump, and there's the Centaur with his Blink Dagger, jumps straight onto the Ember Spirit. The Double Edge doesn't come through, and they'll be able to vacuum back Oa here into the Fiend's Grip. They'll bring down the Centaur, and nice counter initiation coming out from MiTH.
Yeah, unfortunately, all those spells ran into a Nightmare from the Bane, so that was Breathe Fire, that was, I believe, Split Earth that missed, and oh man, just so many spells that were eaten by that Nightmare, and Lakel's also got the Flame Guard up shortly after, so he pretty much took no damage from that entire thing. Stampede is down now, and Mineski, without that, I don't think they could fight. At least if they want to fight, it's going to be extremely, extremely delicate, because again, they have to shut down this Primal Split. If you take a 4v5 against a Brewmaster, it's just not going to end well for your team. So, well, the last hero, Centaur, is up again, but is this game really going to come to like a standoff in the mid lane after all that action? It'll be kind of anticlimactic.
Maybe. I don't know. The hero that's really benefiting from the standoff is Nature's Prophet, who's completely just pushing out solo. He has a 13-minute Orchid on top of his Treads and MiTH. I don't know. That's your way to lock down the Brewmaster split, but they're jumping in mid with a Remnant. They're going to be able to catch out Jesse Vast, and Jesse Vast is going to fall in the backlines as they break out onto the Darkseer as well as the Bane. The Bane's the first one to fall, and the Darkseer probably going to get out alive. Arrow stolen by the Rubik. They are going to be able to get a Sprout and the follow-up arrow onto the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit can't Remnant away, and that's going to be a 2-for-1 in the favor of Mineski. It's not over as the Blink Hoof Stomp. It's not going to be disjointed, but I think she's just going to die from the double edge and the right clicks, or will she? Here comes in MyPro with the split. Finally gets to use it. Now Oa is just held in place for too long. They're chasing for more. They throw the Nature's Prophet up into the air and drop him back down. Where's the boulder toss? It should come out pretty soon. The arrow is going to miss from the Mirana, and Nature's Prophet is going to survive for now. Another arrow, not going to land on anybody, thrown out by the Rubik, and blink away by everybody. I think that's going to be the end of it.
There are just arrows flying everywhere, my god. At the end of the day, the score is 14-12. Mineski, they don't take much damage on the tower. Really a nice hoof stomp to open that fight up from the Centaur. And yeah, Nature's Prophet getting just a little bit more farm. That Orchid coming in big and killing off the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit, though, is going to go for a relatively tanky build, it seems. He's not going to go for his drums. He's going to go straight Ogre Club. So, unless he wants to run something weird like a Salange, it should just be a BKB for him. I don't mind this choice, of course, with the Ion Shell on him, with the Flame Guard, and the Magic Immunity. He'll be able to put out some serious damage towards the Mineski side, even though he doesn't have any quote-unquote damage items.
I don't know, it is going to delay a lot of the synergy that we were talking about in the draft with the Darkseer vacuum into the Sleight of Fist coming out from the Ember Spirit. It's without a Battle Fury and Daedalus, that does very little. Yeah, so Lakel's, he's going to be able to fight pretty effectively, as you said, with his magical damage, but I'm not sure if that's really the sacrifice that they want to make. I'm not sure if the BKB is actually going to keep him alive. I think, I don't know, it's definitely going to be a good tool, especially up against the Orchid from the Nature's Prophet.
Getting a BKB this early is usually not the best thing to do, because come later on, you're going to be sitting on a 4-second BKB for a very long portion of the game. But if you're fighting this early on, a BKB will give you such a huge advantage in these fights. So it really depends on how Lakel's plays and how the rest of MiTH Trust plays within these next couple of minutes. If they make use of the BKB by constantly fighting, then totally worth it. This item is going to pay for itself and then some. Otherwise, it's a pretty dead item in the inventory, and he would really wish that he had something besides that, more along the lines of that Battle Fury. But it looks like top lane, Mineski, they're going to go for this tier 1 tower push. They have the Dragon Knight incoming, and they have all the pushing heroes here, with the exception of one level of Edict. Not a big deal. They'll be able to take this down pretty easily. MyPro in the wings does have a Blink, Clap, and soon to be Split. But it looks like this trade will just be a tier 1 for a tier 1, as Mineski looks like they might lose the mid lane. They could realistically teleport back to defend this, though. Wrath of Nature does fly out, and they're just going to keep on going. Or Jacko's going to keep on going. He's going to have to worry about the Brewmaster behind him, but it looks like he will back off, and mid lane, they get the silence on the Mirana. There's the Sprout as well. They have the Telekinesis, they have the Hoof Stomp Double Edge, and that Mirana stuck around for just a little bit too long, going to give Mineski a free kill, plus the tower.
Yeah. Tier 1 tower in mid still stands for Mineski, despite looking pretty unhealthy. It will still have them, or give them the teleport tether that will give them control over the Roshan pit. So it's still a pretty convincing win for Mineski. The Leshrac is going to be building the mech for his team, although it's going to be quite delayed. This is fine as there's nobody really else. There's a Sprout. They're going to be able to eat through it. The Hoof Stomp is not going to be thrown out, and the Centaur ultimate, I think they're just going to disengage after that. Will to be able to jump in. Lakel is potentially looking for the chains. Not going to throw it out just yet. And I'm not sure where this fight is actually going to break out, if it will. He's looking for the Remnant forward, and it looks like Playhard is going to die. He's going to steal the Remnant. Doesn't get to throw it out. Oh, no, he's going to be able to throw it out, but that one's very slow after the clap. No, Playhard is just fine. It's Oa that's, or rather, Joven that's being focused back. A big vacuum onto 3 with the Ion Shell damage. They're going to be able to get the double edge onto kills, however, and he's going to be the one to trade behind the tower. They're going to drop the split. They're going to stun up Jacko. Jacko is pretty much going to fall, or will he? They're going to throw the Lightning Storm to delay one of the minions, and he's actually going to be able to make it towards the high ground, and this Brewmaster's diving pretty darn deep. He'll get the kill onto Playhard. The arrow's actually going to land on Jesse Bash. The Brain Sap to secure that kill. Brewmaster is going to respawn inside the enemy base, but with the Blink Dagger, he should be fine, or will he? Oh, it is there with a Blink Hoof Stomp available, but MiTH diving hard and making it work.
Brewmaster being pretty much impervious throughout all of that. They did lose the Ember Spirit. I didn't see how they... It looks like the tower got him in the end. Leshrac doing most of the damage, but Mineski, they lost 3 of their heroes right there, and really that's because they had no answers once the Brewmaster jumped in for a split. I mean, really there aren't many heroes that have answers. I would say Faceless Void and Enigma are the only big 2 that can actually do something about that. I mean, Rubik did survive for quite a while after stealing those spirits, but it just wasn't enough because the Dragonite was in danger, and the Dragonite ultimately did survive, which is, I guess, really nice for Mineski. MiTH with just so much momentum and so much sustained chasing, it was just so very difficult for Mineski to really find a point to say, okay, let's turn around as 5 and let's punish this action coming out from MiTH. And well, they just got completely cleaned up because they didn't find that opening. They are going to find an opening now, though, the Roshan Pit. This is spotted out, and arrow's going to fly. It will connect on a Treant, and looks like Mineski are going to get this denied from them.
Yeah. I don't think that MiTH are going to be able to take the Roshan, even though it's about at half. Well, actually, no. Mineski are going to pop their heads back into the pit. There's going to be a Sprout to make some Treants. I don't know. Are they going to commit to this? I definitely think that MiTH can contest. They don't have the Brewmaster split for another 17 seconds, however, and that'll be the time that they have to wait for before they can actually jump. Let's see. Looks like Roshan's going to fall.
There is a level 1 wall in the Dark Series, level 11, so really it should be level 2, which would have been devastating in this pit, but MiTH getting there a little bit too late. There's the vacuum. No wall just yet, but a clap onto a couple, and now connecting MyPro, though. Gonna get cleaned up instantly. Noki with the grip from the high ground onto Nature's Prophet. Gonna do next to nothing. Lakelz wants in. He probably shouldn't want in. Here comes the leap forward from SD. I don't know where you're going, Marana. Stars are gonna fall. Not gonna do much of anything. She's gonna get cleaned up instantly. Everyone from Mineski really, really low, but no one's dead yet. Lakelz is gonna be forced out. He had a double damage rune, but ultimately that is not enough. Not nearly enough. As MiTH, they run in just a little bit too late. Oh, no, Nature's Prophet. Gonna give the Aegis to the Darkseer, I guess. Looking for a silence after a blink is just gonna end up throwing the Aegis away. So I guess MiTH get something out of that, but they get completely wiped.
With the exception of the Ember Spirit, yes, 4 for none trade. Everybody in the Mineski was just so darn low. Like, the Sleight of Fist spam was doing a lot with that double damage rune, but the only kill that they actually got was on the Nature's Prophet who had the Aegis, and now another 3,300 gold on top of what the Nature's Prophet already had. What do you think his next item is going to be?
Well, they're fighting quite often, and in order to dodge some magic damage, I would say BKB wouldn't be a terrible item for Nature's Prophet, and it doesn't seem like he's really split pushing all that much, so I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of damage coming out from Nature's Prophet, since clearly they want this Nature's Prophet to be in the fights at all times. He could be split pushing throughout most of this, but he's just deciding not to, so gotta be damage for him.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Either BKB or straight damage. I wouldn't be opposed to Maelstrom. It would kind of be a mix of split push as well as damage. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty much anything he wants to go for. Is if you look at the net worth chart, he's almost doubling up the highest farmer of MiTH.
And the DK is up, top side. Sprout is up, and MyPro cannot leave. Silenced up for the Orchid, which would have popped him, but the right clicks are enough. Now vacuum onto the wall. Actually, it's going to almost clip the Nature's Prophet. Such a War Runner has a blink away, and he will do so. Dropping the wall for that one. I don't know if he just couldn't get the wall off in the Roshan Pit. I think he might have been stunned or something. He
was stunned, yeah, pretty much instantly. It was Leshrac stun that hit too. Down at bottom, they get the Bane kill, and now they should be able to get this tier 2 tower. TP in from the Darkseer probably going to be cancelled. No, he's not. He's going to jump in. The Ember Spirit is here. Nature's Prophet, they're jumping onto him. Do they have the lockdown or the damage? It looks like they do, with the Urn Tick as well. That'll be a dominating spree for the Ember Spirit. Remnant stolen by the Rubik, but push deterred.
Gonna give him enough gold for his BKB, but in the end, they do lose a hero before they actually get anything there. Nature's Prophet going down. You did pick up the Maelstrom, as you were saying before, and pretty much all of his gold is reliable, so though it is the death on the Nature's Prophet, a little bit of experience and gold for MiTH, Nature's Prophet really not slowed down too much by going down there. Rubik's still in the area. He doesn't have any fire spirits set up or anything, so sticking around probably not a good idea. But 18-20 in this game, still pretty remarkably even. Mineski with a slight gold advantage in 5,000, slight experience, and a little bit above 3,000. But at this stage in the game, when it's this much action, it's very easily capable for MiTH to swing it the other way.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that Mineski have a little bit more lead than the graphs are actually saying they do, mostly because of the farm distribution that they have. The Nature's Prophet as well as the Dragon Knight have quite a bit, and pretty much all that they need, and so does the Centaur. Even though his net worth isn't very impressive at only 6,000, 4-staff Blink and Trickle Boots is all you can really ask for from your Centaur. Sure, a pipe would be nice, but it's not that important.
Moonlight Shadow now as they look towards the mid lane. Jacko is going to get gripped. Where you going, DK? You're not going anywhere. There's a vacuum and a clap to seal the deal.
Yeah, a lot of cooldowns expend for that Dragon Knight kill, but they get the Dragon Knight kill and don't give up anything of their own, and now can put some pressure onto this Tier 2 tower. They have everybody here, and Mineski really aren't in a great position to defend, and with the Tier 2 tower already at half damage, not sure if they can actually do much about this with the way their heroes are positioned across the map. Nature's Prophet obviously can TP in, but Centaur is a little bit late to the party, and looks like they're just going to give it up, or will they? They're waiting on the high ground with the Mirana as well as the Bane behind the trees, and looks like Playhard might get caught out. I don't know. No arrows have been thrown out just yet, and it's just kind of an awkward standoff yet again.
Pushing power for MiTH isn't that strong. They clear creeps very easily, but that's about it. Vacuum! Oh, everything misses except for the Nightmare. There's the Fire Remnant jump away from the Rubik. He'll be just fine, although Lakelz wants in. He's going to slow Playhard down just enough that he can jump away now. He will get out. And Playhard, well, one more Spirit. It's going to kill him off. Lakelz really wanted that, and he got it. Has a BKB also. If things get too hairy, there's the BKB proc, but he's still taking a lot of physical damage. Sprout onto Centaur. No, Nature's Prophet, why? Oh, man, they're going to have to let Lakelz get away for now. Kaneki blinks out, and everyone from MiTH is going to survive off of that one. That's a 10-second BKB charge used, though, mostly defensively from Lakelz, so not the best usage of this item, especially when you get it as your first item. Bot lane took a little bit of damage, but nothing too serious.
Yeah, they did get the Tier 2 tower after all of that chasing for the Ember Spirit, so still a win for MiTH. Although, as you said, this BKB is going to start wearing down quite quickly. It's unfortunate the Leshrac split Earth Stun didn't land. That was actually so close to clipping the Ember Spirit as he was coming out of that first Remnant. I thought that might have actually hit Lakelz, but I don't know, just a little too early coming up from Jesse Vash. Other than that, his splitters have been really good, but Mechanism now online for Leshrac. He has pretty much everything that a support Leshrac could want. Maxed out splitter as well as the Lightning Storm. He does a lot of damage inside the team fights. 2 points in Edict, although not very impressive, is still enough to put some hurt into towers. Yeah,
and if he's ignored by the MiTH side, then between the low cooldown of Lightning Storm plus Edict, he could very easily punish MiTH. So Leshrac is a support who you would very much so like to ignore, but you will get punished if you do in fact ignore him. And if you let him get a couple more kills, who knows, he might end up being a lot tankier than you would really expect if he does start to go for something like a Vit booster or upgrade his boots to power treads. Something around those lines could turn this Leshrac into a pretty potent force moving forward.
Yeah, it definitely could. It's a support that usually you don't think of as rotating towards the semi-carry, but honestly that's where you'd like him to be. At the later portions of the game, getting a BKB and Bloodstone on Leshrac could be absolutely huge. Although he doesn't have any points in the ultimate because he really can't sustain that in the team fights right now. Eventually, Jesse Vash will be able to put out a lot of magical damage, especially once the BKB on the Ember Spirit starts wearing down.
Looks like for now we're going to have a stalled out game for just a little bit. Nature's Prophet's still farming it up an absolute storm. BKB has been the pickup after that Maelstrom, so it looks like we are all going to be correct. Wait, where did his
What? Did he sell that?
No, you gave it to the Leshrac. What the hell?
I have no idea. Currently he's holding onto the wards for the Leshrac, and I think he's just going to TP place those out. With the Blink Dagger as well as the global TP, you can get the wards wherever you want them, and so Jesse Vash is going to be a walking courier, I suppose. I don't know, that is something I've never seen.
Top lane, there's a grip onto Playhard, and he's going to go down.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't the Leshrac. If he dies, that could be pretty bad for the Nature's Prophet, but I don't understand what's going on now. He has the ward, and he can place it, but he's going to his own base. So, yeah, that doesn't work. Maelstrom is muted when you move it over to a different hero.
I mean, okay. it's kind of on a tangent, but what are the things that you can share? It's like Tranquil Boots, and just like the Perseverance, all those regen items.
Parts, all the restoratives, and that's about it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But no one ever shares those, because
no, they don't.
You don't give your ally Perseverance, they're going to sell it. Or drop it somewhere that you can't find it.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
I don't know, Tier 2 tower up top is going to take a lot of pressure coming in from MiTH. Despite not having the biggest ability to push these towers, it's not looking too healthy, and, well, Nature's Prophet, he can TP in. The rest of heroes are lagging quite far behind, but again, MiTH, they're waiting for a proper time to jump, and they're just going to TP their Ember Spirit down towards bottom. He does have a Remnant down on the ground, however.
Yeah, so Ember Spirit will be able to defend bottom, and at the same time have his presence up top. And Mineski, they have to watch out for random arrows. They have to keep their positioning really tight, else the Bane is going to be blinking on them with a Nightmare. So MiTH, though they don't have the most pushing power in the world, they do have a lot of hero killing power. So MiTH, they're going to be looking to take a convincing fight and then clean up the tower straight after. Depending on how convincing the fight is, they could even start looking for high ground, but I don't think the fight's going to be that well off for them. They haven't been in the past, so they're just going to send creep wave after creep wave in, and Mineski, they're going to, well, have to stick some heroes up here, and if it's only one hero in the Rubik or something like that, then he's very vulnerable to death, and, well, it looks like for now, MiTH, they're going to back off, but still put a little bit of damage up to the top lane tower, and Mineski, they didn't get that much in exchange, so it's not going to be a terribly huge deal for MiTH to spend their time like that.
They scouted out Roshan, they got a stack on their Ancients, and put some pressure down in bottom as well. I don't know, it's not the worst trade for Mineski either. It's pretty even, all said and done. But yeah, it's, I don't know, just very awkward. Nature's Prophet getting pretty close to finishing up the Mjolnir if he wants it. And into the Roshan pit, Mineski potentially are going to go. They smoke up and don't find any pickoffs yet. And, well, they're going to look for it and maybe just back off straight in the Roshan pit. We already have Joven as well as Jacko working on it. The arrow is going to come through from the Rana that's going to scout it out. Battle Fury on the Ember Spirit. I think we're just going to see a fight break out, but where?
Moonlight Shadow, and there's no detection just yet for Mineski. Playhard is stuck now. He's ion shelled up, and he's going to get burned down really quickly. Levitate onto the Brewmaster, going to buy him a little bit more space, and he actually does blink out. Looks like everyone from Mineski is going to survive for now, but no spells have really been committed. Well, there's the wall. That doesn't create an illusion of Roshan, but just in case Mineski are thinking about returning, they shouldn't because there's a wall there, but wall pretty much wasted, and ultimately no one's going to die. Somehow Playhard got out of there.
Arrow onto the Nature's Prophet from the backlines, and they're just going to burst him down. They commit the ultimate. He BKBs, but that's not going to stop you from the right click of Lakel's. And, well, they're looking for more. I don't think they're going to find it. The Ember Spirit goes down towards bottom with the BKB still activated. He's going to find Playhard, but doesn't get the chains off. Something stolen. It is going to be the Searing Chains from the Rubik. He earns himself up, and Lakel's and Brewmaster are still looking for blood here. They might find somebody. Leshrac throws out the stun. There's an arrow flying from Mirana, but they're going to jump on the Ember Spirit instead, and Lakel's is going to be bursted down. And now the Dark Series in a bit of a pickle. You're running in between a lot of enemy heroes, but so is the Mirana is being focused on by the Dragon Knight, as well as the Centaur Warner buyback from the Nature's Prophet, and he's going to join back into this fight, although Brewmaster on the sidelines, and it's going to be the... Oh, who actually died that last time? It is going to be the Darkseer chase down. This fight is just completely spreading out everywhere. Mineski should be able to get Roshan off of this, unless MiTH buy back on the Mirana and Darkseer, and even then, without the wall, it's very unlikely to be able to find anybody. And actually on the high ground, they find the Bane! Triple kill for the Nature's Prophet.
How the hell did they find that Bane? They had
Blink
no
on
vision
Playhard?
or anything,
Spidey senses.
Yeah, Star Sense is real, but yeah, I was watching the Darkseer. He was running away and was just fine until he blinked like through the ancient area towards the tier 1 tower in order to escape. And then, because that's the way Nature's Prophet was going. Nature's Prophet teleported in and ran towards his tier 1 tower, and then Darkseer kind of ran straight into the Nature's Prophet, and then he got zapped by Wrath of Nature because the Nature's Prophet was there to give sight, which is pretty hilarious. But MiTH, they certainly overextend just way too much. The Brewmaster, though he did use his ultimate and did get a kill off of it, they didn't fight with the Brewmaster ultimate, and that's crucial. You have to be able to, have the Brewmaster be close to as many heroes as you could possibly can. Otherwise, the Brewmaster is without his ultimate, and the Brewmaster without ultimate is not too threatening. If MiTH backed off, they could have been out of there with just one kill, maybe another kill on their way out, but deciding to stay and fight without the Brewmaster ultimate really, really costed them in the end. So Mineski taking a decent enough fight there, as they definitely took the kill advantage, and then now they get the Roshan as well, and that's going to be Aegis on the Nature's Prophet. He's sitting on a scary 4,700 gold, did ship out his Hand of Midas, in exchange for that Aegis, and that could be his Mjolnir completed, and then at that point he has an Aegis to replace, but this guy is pretty much 6-slotted at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Mjolnir and then Daedalus on top of it. I'm not sure if anything else would really cut the cake for him. After that, it's just replacing your BKB and, I don't know, buy Necronomicon Refresher, get the 8-slotted Nature's Prophet going. But yeah, he's getting scarily farmed for 33 minutes into the game, sitting well on top of pretty much anybody else. The Ember Spirit is starting to pick up that physical damage, but with only the Battle Fury, it's still not that scary.
Yeah, the only bad thing with Nature's Prophet is that even though he may be 6-slotted, if you get close to him and you're actually able to hit him with a melee hero or something like that, then most of the time he's just going to crumble. He doesn't have the sustain or mobility in order to truly escape from the likes of an Ember Spirit or a Brewmaster or something like that. So the Nature's Prophet is going to have to be sure to hide behind the Centaur, hide behind the DK, and then if he does that, he'll be able to put out so much damage. But MiTH Trust, they definitely are capable of taking the 6-slot Nature's Prophet, even though their Ember Spirit may only have 2 items in the Battle Fury plus the BKB. If he gets close to Nature's Prophet, he could put some serious hurt on, and Lakelz just has a lot more room to grow in this game. He doesn't have the best score, 867 is decent, but yeah, it could be a lot better for an Ember Spirit. You would expect it to be a lot better, since he's such a hard snowballing hero, but it looks like he's going to be just fine. Smoke coming downwards, but it's not going to find anyone.
Not yet, at least. They're going to continue pushing down here. They have everybody committed to this bottom lane. They do have a Blink Dagger on Jacko. Didn't see when he picked it up, or haven't seen it really used in a fight, but I don't know. It's definitely going to put a lot of hurt into the enemy team. It's going to be just a one-shot bot Daedalus because the Nature's Prophet can. Doesn't even complete up the Mjolnir first. And he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Just a blink on the Dragon Knight into the enemy base with the follow-up from the Centaur. They're not able to get the Ember Spirit off of the bat. And, well, Lakelz with the BKB is going to try and turn the grip going the way of Oa. Oa not getting focused down, and with the BKB taking very little damage. Now the stun, another one going the way of the Bane. And, well, TP coming out from Jacko. He's in the BKB, and we'll be able to make it out in a very messy dive coming up from Mineski as Leshrac brought back down to the ground. He's going to be brought down. The only casualty so far.
That's kind of weird. I don't know if there are going to be any more casualties. They're going to chase up north, Surge on the Ember Spirit, and they're looking for the Nature's Prophet, who wasn't in that fight at all. There's a Sleight of Fist, though the chain's not really going to land. However, he does jump forward for the chains, now landing with the arrow follow-up. They can't get in that Sprout just yet, but they will poke him down from outside. That's the Aegis. He's going to have a Blink Dagger as soon as he comes up, but the Ion Shell is there. The Ion Shell should be there. Yeah, he's not going to escape. Nature's Prophet, throughout that entire fight, was pretty much on the outer edge of the Radiant base, kind of just pacing back and forth, looking for an opening. He didn't do anything, I don't think. Like, I think he actually just did nothing in that fight, and now they're going to lose Leshrac, they're going to lose the Nature's Prophet, and MiTH Trust, they don't lose anything.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty big kill on your Nature's Prophet because he doesn't have buyback. Completed the Daedalus before he died, and honestly, I don't think it's going to cost them much, although he might have wanted to have that available. I think it's still on cooldown, actually, from last time, and it doesn't have it available for a minute, so it wouldn't have mattered either way.
Really, a lot of that fight went that well for MiTH because of their Bane. Again, the Nightmare is just so damn useful for MiTH Trust. If the Ember Spirit got actually hit with all the spells that were thrown at him, he would have been dead really, really quickly. But Noki made him survive just long enough so that he could pop his BKB. And then once he has that, he could, either turn and fight or run. And, well, either way, he's going to survive. And without a Bane on your team, without that Nightmare landing at that point, that would have been a much different fight for Mineski. They would have, at the very least, gotten one hero kill, and then off of that, the Nature's Prophet probably would have found the confidence to go in for more. But they find Play Hard in the river area. There's the grip. Not exactly the best use of the grip to kill off a Rubik, but hey, you get a Rubik, I guess. That's a dead hero right there, and Mineski going to be without that one as they do find an opening up onto Lakelz. The Flame Guard is already up. Magic damage is going to be reduced by quite a large margin. Bash gets hit with an arrow, actually, as Lakelz is going to turn around, kill off this Leshrac, and now he wants more. BKB's teleport out from Centaur, and Kaneki looking for anyone he could find, but that's going to be it. Mineski lose 2 heroes as MiTH Trust, just with a slightly better roam, slightly luckier roam, let's say, and now they're going to look for even more. Nature's Prophet has a Blink Dagger, so I don't think he's going to die here. No, the Treants are going to spot everything out, but Mineski just slowly starting to bleed heroes.
Yeah, they are a lot of pickoffs in the last couple of minutes. Still anybody's game. But now the Ember Spirit is actually becoming relevant. With 4,000 gold, he can be well on his way towards the Daedalus, and now has the baby crit, as well as money for buyback. So yeah, he's well on his way to being threatening. And if they get a good Darkseer initiation with a Blink Scythe, as well as the Vacuum, it definitely should happen. They could be able to drop a whole lot of these heroes, especially if they catch out some summons inside the Vacuum as well.
Yeah, Mineski, their pushing power is pretty much stopped since, I would say, for like the last 17 minutes or something like that. They can try to go for these towers, but with the initiation advantage that MiTH Trust have in the Blink Dagger and the Darkseer with the Hex, the Brewmaster with the Blink, and of course Ember Spirit and Darkseer with a lot of mobility themselves, it's going to be really, really difficult to take these last two towers without getting a pick-off beforehand. And though their pick-off potential is pretty nice with the Dragon Knight into Blink Dragon Tail, it's going to pale in comparison to what MiTH are doing. Right now, MiTH are just outmaneuvering the Mineski side, and so they're going to smoke up and try to barrel their way down and try to look for a kill that way. Nature's Prophet does have a TP in. If they get a nice hoof stomp onto Lakelz, they can bring him down. Although it looks like Lakelz is going to smell this one. If they mess up their chain stun for just a little bit, he'll jump out to his Fire Remnant.
Yep, I don't know, they're looking for it. Oh, blink away from Jacko. I think he double-clicked it, but Playhard will be there. Now the hoof stomp onto Lakelz. They follow up with the Dragon Tail and burst him down. Good initiation despite having the double-click blink, and now they're looking for more, not going to find it. A lot of BKBs being spent. The wall clips on Dragon Knight, and there goes your grip. Onto one. They'll force staff Oa back into the rest of the team. Nature's Prophet's going to be the next one to die after the buyback of the Ember Spirit, and he'll be able to get the Centaur as well. Lakelz looking for blood here. I don't think they're going to find anybody else with the exception of the Dragon Knight, who is currently brought down after the Cyclone of the Brewmaster, and 3 heroes down for the Ember Spirit pickup. It cost him a buyback, but definitely worth it. Now the Rubik not looking too great as he gets hexed up by Kaneki here inside the river. Playhard, he does not have the blink available. He does have a Force Staff, might be able to go to the high ground. He goes towards the other way, but the blink from Kaneki will allow them to chase in a very long vacuum, and that's going to be 4 for 1 the exchange. I don't think there's any other way to look at that other than a win for MiTH Trust, and now they're going to try to force out some buybacks, and I don't know, they might be forced to use them here.
Oh, they have to use them here. This damage on the tower is not the most. They will pull off the aggro of the creeps. Lightning Storm's going to fly in. There's a blink in from the Centaur, but the Nightmare is there. Lakel's still very healthy, and he will get Dragon-tailed up, though. He doesn't have buyback, so that's going to be a dead Ember Spirit for 94 seconds as the DK does buy back into this game. But, yeah, Mineski, they really that fight started because Nature's Prophet got hit with an arrow, which could have been potentially soaked up by the Centaur, who is still in BKB, but just the way that the heroes are moving, he ultimately didn't get that one off, and then MiTH Trust just jumped on that opportunity, and now Centaur looking for Mirana. Now the blink isn't long enough for that, and Mirana doesn't actually have any mana, but it seems like the Centaur doesn't know about that or doesn't care. Mineski, they don't lose any of their structures in the base. Tier 3 tower took a little bit of damage, but they're still very much so in it, although MiTH Trust, after that pretty convincing fight, gotta feel really good about their positioning right now.
Yeah, they really do. I'm not sure if this Ember Spirit being dead for 50 seconds is actually going to mean anything. They might lose the tier 2 tower down in bottom, but then again, the tier 2 tower up in top is probably going to be traded for it. So 2 buybacks for 1, and then 2 kills for 4. If that's all clumped up in one. Arrow flying, going to land onto a treant, and tier 2 tower mid is going to fall very quickly, but so is the tier 2 tower up top, although Mineski don't look like they want to stop this. There's the BKB now on your Brewmaster. They're not in position to jump into this just yet, but Mineski are pretty clumped up.
There's a jump in for Kaneki. They're going to burst him down. He's silenced. He can't get a single spell off. MyPro's going to jump in too as a split, but he's not going to use it just yet. Mineski, they're stampeded, and they're all just going to book it. Sprout, though, onto Jacko. No Nature's Prophet. Why? Sprout, the vacuum and the wall. Not going to catch too many heroes, but the Centaur going to get double force tapped out. Finally, the split is there, but it's way too late for that, I feel. There's a blink forward from everyone. They're going to catch pretty much no one. Oh, the Nature's Prophet. BKB'd to prevent himself from getting tagged with the arrow. Has a Sprout TP. And he's going to Sprout and then blink out. Well played by him. Is it going to matter? He will get cycloned. The BKB runs out at the worst possible time. He's going to land into an Ion Shell. He's going to land into everything. Arrow is going to whiff, but I don't think this Nature's Prophet is going to get out of there alive. He will almost bring down the Bane. He actually will kill him off with the Orchid. Yes, he will. So I guess he gets something off of that, but yeah, MiTH, they take a great fight as their Ember Spirit finally respawns. And Nature's Prophet, does he have buyback? He didn't use it in the last fight, so he does. But I think MiTH Trust are going to look to crack back now. At the very least, force this buyback.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty big one to force out. Honestly, that's the biggest thing that Nature's Prophet is saving for at this point, is he really doesn't have a lot of room to grow. Mjolnir is nice, and the Stag Charge will be very useful in like the Centaur and Dragon Knight. But yeah, Nature's Prophet buyback is more important. And speaking of Mjolnirs, we do now have one on the Mirana, and actually MiTH, they're not going to group up and push and try to force out this Nature's Prophet buyback.
They're going to go in this game for the long haul. They know that Nature's Prophet is pretty much capped out. DK has still quite a few items to pick up, but Mirana is actually going to become a pretty large nuisance. You know, kind of similar to what we were talking about with the Leshrac. If you ignore the Mirana, then it's
MyPro.
MyPro. Lifted up into the air, already got hoof stomped, fade bolt, and he doesn't actually have a split, so there was no way he would have escaped that. He does have a BKB, but no teleportation after that. So it's going to be a free kill on the Brewmaster, and they do drop the gem. It's a pretty nice pick-off for Mineski right there, and Brewmaster actually doesn't have a buyback, so Mineski might want to look to force that one out, as Nature's Prophet can just respawn and teleport down bottom. But it looks like instead they're going to gear up for Roshan, so killing the Brewmaster, getting a tower or Roshan, either way, it's going to be very nice for the Mineski side, who pretty much do need a break.
Yeah, and this is the break that they wanted. This is going to be, I think, the third Roshan. Yeah, we are going to have Cheese coming out now for Mineski. Probably going to give that away to Dragon Knight, or, I don't know. Yeah, probably Jacko is going to pick that one up. We have Mirana Ultimate being used, but they're not close enough to Roshan Pit to actually contest this with the Assault Cuirass, as well as just the damage coming out from everybody. That should be fairly straightforward. The Cheese is on the ground, not sure who's going to pick that one up. It potentially would be Jesse Bash, but no. Blayhard snags that one. No, not going to see a contest coming out from MiTH, so Mineski find themselves a pretty nice advantage here, after very fortuitous pickup on the Brewmaster.
Yeah, without that brew, you really can't afford to fight that one if you're MiTH Trust. You have to sit back and unfortunately let them have that Aegis. And, well, as I was saying, Mirana is going to be a pretty potent damage dealer moving forward. Ember Spirit still has a magic stick and a teleportation scroll to ship out for something that smashes a little bit harder. So this Ember Spirit is going to be a devastating force moving onwards. I would say a lot more of a devastating force than this Nature's Prophet, especially when he has backup the Darkseer and, you know, the Brewmaster, stuff like that. So MiTH Trust, they're going to play this game really, really slow, and I think I like this from them. As far as a late game is concerned, all their heroes will still be pretty relevant, especially with their supports transitioning into a really nice carry role or semi-carry role in that Mirana. So MiTH Trust, as long as they don't get picked off and as long as they don't lose any Raxes or anything like that, if they do take this to the late game, I will give them the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, already Nature's Prophet is always annoying, but he is actually capped out, as now he goes for the Scythe of Vice, replacing up that Maelstrom, going to completely sell it off, no real reason to hang on to it. And, well, that's your 6 slots from Nature's Prophet. Does not have buyback available, although the cooldowns there does not have the money. He needs to play pretty careful, but they are going to take the last outer tier tower in this game, with the exception of the bottom tier 2 of the Dire, but yeah, Mineski, that's all of the map gold that's available for them. They get it with the Roshan, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to push high ground.
Yeah, I don't think they want to either. They need to pick off. Really, neither side is going to be comfortable with going up high ground unless they get a kill beforehand, or if they can initiate on someone very easily. Like SD would have been that pick off, but you know, Mirana is going to be safe for now. Mineski, they're still looking for that opportunity with a Blink Dagger on the DK. They could pretty much get into initiation range anyone, no matter who, and they'll be able to bring them down pretty quickly. But at that point, it's, are they overextended? And it looks like they're not comfortable enough with taking this fight now, as MiTH Trust, they're all smoked up, with the exception of Lakels, who's kind of lagging behind, wasn't invited to this party. Kaneki in the lead, doesn't have a Blink Dagger, but they are going to Moonlight Shadow. They are going to run into a whole bunch of Mineski heroes, but they're all really scattered. Bash is going to teleport away. He's going to be fine and blink out from Play Hard with the Force Staff. Looks like everyone from Mineski is going to dodge this one, so very well played by them, and everyone will survive.
Yeah, kind of anticlimactic to see a smoke not leading into anything, but yeah, well played by Mineski. Good game sense, and I don't know, everybody was missing. Leshrac was scared out of his pants and just TP'd back to base. Leshrac hasn't really picked up many items since the mechanism. He's sitting on quite a good amount of gold for support, at about 2,350. I believe that's not his gem, but rather the gem of Noki, who dropped that. It was the Brewmaster who was holding it. So yeah, I think it's more or less just a waiting game until we do see that pick off, as you said, but MiTH Trust are going to put some pressure up top.
Well, Mineski do have that Aegis still, and they do have an Nature's Prophet, so I think ratting into trying to force a fight with the other 4 heroes is going to be what Mineski want to do, because I think they probably know that their late game isn't the best, since their Nature's Prophet is 6-slotted right now, so they have to make something happen, and there's no better time to make something happen than with an Aegis on your DK. It's not going to get much better than that until the DK gets a couple more items, and that'll just take a really long time. If they do want to risk that, it could be okay for them, but it is also really risky. But it looks like they're just going to go for it. Dragon Knight popping the Dragon Form instantly into the arrow, though. Are they going to initiate onto a DK with an Aegis? That's the real question. They're going to get the Enfeeble off, so he's doing 40 damage a pop, not threatening at all. He's attacking pretty quickly, And now he's drunk also. Playhard's going to get in there with a lift onto the Brewmaster. Instantly gets Hex as well. He's silenced. He's going to be brought down. Does he have buyback? He does have buyback. No, he actually doesn't. He's going to go down. No split, but Lakel's going to join this fight now. Going to jump forward again. But the cheese on the Rubik making it so that he can't go down to this Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit's got to jump out. Jacko still standing strong. He's going to lose his Aegis. Mineski are winning this fight pretty handily as Kaneki is forced to surge himself out. It's not going to happen. Jacko is going to respawn, and the Ember Spirit does buy back, as does the Darkseer. But Mineski, they're still ready to fight this one, I think. They could still keep going, knowing that the Brewmaster is not going to respawn. They're going to try to force out the buyback, but they're soon going to realize that it's not available. There's a blink in on Trinaki with a double edge. They're going to bring this Bane down, although with beautiful vacuum into the wall. They're all going to drop very low. The Centaur with the chains is going to go down. Nature's Prophet is going to try to kill off Lakel's in the meantime, but will he have enough damage with the Orchid? Yes, the Ember Spirit will pop. Now with Grip onto Jacko off to the side. That's going to be the death of the Dragon Knight shortly, with the Stars going to kill him off, but the Nature's Prophet still in the MiTH base is just going to town because no one's focusing him. And now SD, he's lifted up into a split earth. He's trying to fight his way out. It's not going to happen. The Darkseer, the only one to survive. And that's why, MiTH Trust, that is why you do not ignore the Nature's Prophet. I understand that DK looks tasty, but you gotta take care of this Prophet because he just did so much damage. And well, they're gonna go in for round 2 now. Vacuum back gonna be used on only Playhard, and well, they're gonna take the range Raxes at the very least. Brewmaster's gonna be up in a couple seconds, and that's gonna force everyone from Mineski to back off. But they take a really nice fight, and assuming no one else dies, they should be just fine to be happy with that. Although Kaneki going to jump forward, has a sheep, and he's going to use it on the pig, which is going to get surged. Stolen by the Rubik, and now the Rubik's going to be initiated upon. There's a lift onto Kaneki. We'll drop him onto MyPro. Mineski, they're on the way out, and it looks like they should be able to escape. Happy with the Raxes that they took. Arrow's going to fly, but I don't think it's going to hit onto anyone. Not long enough. Yeah, they got to get up the chase right now. MiTH Trust. Unfortunately for them, they lost the Brewmaster first thing. He couldn't get his BKB off. He couldn't get his split off. That's going to be a nice win for Mineski.
Yeah, it definitely is. I thought that might have turned off of a beautiful vacuum coming out from the Darkseer. Caught up 4 of them into the wall that was already down, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. They dropped 2 kills at the end of all of that, but ignored the Nature's Prophet, who's hitting like an absolute truck. Like with the Blink, Scythe of Ice, Daedalus, he's critting for so much. And yeah, he was just on the sidelines picking off heroes.
Yeah, and MiTH, I mean, I don't think they caught the Nature's Prophet in the vacuum, because Kaneki had the decision, do I vacuum the Nature's Prophet into the wall, or do I vacuum like 3 heroes? And you can't fault him for saying, yo, you go for the 3 heroes, because it worked out so very well. It did a ton of damage once the illusions were spawned up, but Mineski, they get their Nature's Prophet into the perfect position. At the very least, he is ignored by the MiTH Trust side, whether that was a mistake by MiTH Trust or well played by Mineski's Nature's Prophet, and that's up to you to decide, but either way, their Nature's Prophet is able to put out just so much damage. And MiTH Trust, losing the Ember Spirit and losing the Brewmaster, before that those 2 heroes could actually get on top of the Nature's Prophet, means that Mineski are going to take that one home, and they're going to wait for the next Roshan, and then probably going to try to do the exact same thing. They have to respect the fact that that fight only went so well because the Brewmaster was brought down first, and the Darkseer's wall initially was kind of average. But now the Nature's Prophet is going to sell out his Orchid, actually, and pick up an MKB, so he's going to go all in on the damage train.
Yeah, I'm okay with this at this point in the game. The Orchid's kind of falling off with BKB on your Brewmaster as well as on your Ember Spirit. That's kind of what it's there for, is, oh, they find out the Bane, and just 1 crit from the Nature's Prophet is all that they needed, and now they're looking potentially for more. I don't think they're going to find it, however. We do have a Surge, 4-staff Blink. They're looking for a lift. They're not going to find it. Moonlight Shadow on the ground. They do have a gem on somebody, but it's not the Rubik. Playhard doesn't find it, and, well, Ember Spirit's actually going to throw the chains onto Playhard. Yeah, Jesse Vash was too far back there to give them that true sight.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Nature's Prophet ran the wrong way, but they know that the Bane is dead, so they're going to try to force a buyback, which, again, just isn't there. I think Mineski would probably benefit from sliding down to the bottom lane and getting the Raxes there. It's a sure thing as opposed to the tower up on the mid lane, which is going to be still protecting the Raxes. Looks like they're actually going to go for both. They get their melee Rax on the bottom, and Jacko's still working away over at mid. Now a heart being picked up for the Centaur. Jump in for Lakel's, but he does pop the BKB. Jacko popped the BKB as well, and it looks like they're just going to back off. Okay, intimidation, I suppose. Arrow's going to fly. This time will connect onto no one. Vacuum back into a wall, and now they're going to bring out the Nature's Prophet really quickly. This is the split. And now Kaneki, though, going to get stunned up. Can't sheep up the Nature's Prophet. It looks like he will survive for now, and it looks like he will survive completely, actually. They're going to escape, and now Mineski, they're going to take a run and gun fight. Jacko, though, going to get hit with that Fiend's Grip. the Rubik trying to disrupt it. Can't happen in time. The Centaur ultimately does, and does get the kill on the Bane, but it's a little bit too late to save his friendly DK. Now the Centaur going to work down. SD doing so much damage. Grip stolen by Playhard for a little bit onto MyPro, but it's not going to last for long enough. Nature's Prophet now stuck in his own Sprout. He's going to get vacuumed back, but he could turn around and put some serious hurt onto MiTH. Double jump forward from Lakel is going to get the Nature's Prophet in the chains, but he gets hexed up immediately. Split Earth to follow. Lakel is going to be brought down. Nature's Prophet still alive, but he has brought back. This is going to be a dieback from the Nature's Prophet, and now MiTH Trust have a nice opportunity here if they keep fighting. Arrow to fly onto Jesse Vash. They're going to bring him down as well. Playhard, the only one to survive. He has a Blink Force Staff. Can he escape this? It looks like he will be able to, but MiTH Trust this time they defend because they take the Nature's Prophet down early and they get the split off. They're going to pretty much redeem their last fight, but they lost the bottom racks in its entirety. This game is getting more and more interesting.
It really is. Like, once you're one racks down, and, well, now we have a disconnect on the Darks here. No pause. Come on, there we go. But yeah, that last fight, they focused on Nature's Prophet once, and then they got the kill. That's a dieback from Nature's Prophet. He just stuck around a little too long. They were able to chase him. Getting the split off on the Brewmaster was very important, and they used a lot of it to focus down the Centaur, and the return actually almost straight up killed 2 of the Brewmaster minions. But yeah, it was a really good fight coming out for MiTH, and they'll have a little bit of an opening to put some pressure on these lanes. But as you said, the structures did go down towards Mineski, so despite losing the team fight, they're getting closer to winning the war, 1 full lane down.
The DK is the only one from Mineski who currently holds buyback, and MiTH Trust, they don't have the best heroes to be pushing this, meaning they don't have their Ember Spirit. SD is still putting out some decent damage, and wow, this Mirana is loaded. 4,700 gold. Manta Style if she wants to, Crit if she wants to, really anything that hurts people is what she's going to want to build. Unfortunately for MiTH Trust, they only have 2 heroes here, and they might be able to bring down this tier 3 tower. Maybe they'll force the buyback from DK, but Mineski, they're probably just going to sack the tower and be completely okay with the fact that they got the entirety of the bottom racks, and they do still have that Nature's Prophet. At this point, Nature's Prophet can be just full-on ratty. He could go up to the top lane and push that out, while the rest of the team holds the fort down mid. Because bottom lane, 1 lane of racks is in favor of Mineski is going to be a pretty sizable advantage for them, but 52 minutes into the game, it's definitely not impossible for MiTH to hold that. And Darkseer does return to this game. Let's take a quick sweep and see if there's any notable items that are picked up. Looks like aside from that heart, there wasn't. Helmet Dominator up on DK, so he's going to be pretty survivable moving forward. 4 staff on the Shrek, but that's about it. MiTH Trust, they're going to scout Roshan, and looks like they're not even going to try for this tier 3 tower. They have to fall back. They just lost a little bit too much. They're a little bit too banged up to go for the high ground of their own.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the Nature's Prophet, I still think there's a little bit of room that he could grow. Rebuying his BKB at this point could be pretty solid, as it's only at 5 seconds. And then maybe he might also consider replacing his Blink Dagger with something like a Satanic, so they can actually sit in the fights and right-click. If he had the lifesteal there, as well as the BKB for 10 seconds, that fight probably would have gone completely differently, as he was forced to stand and fight.
Yeah, with so much mobility on the MiTH Trust side, the Blink Dagger from Nature's Prophet, you can't really rely on that to keep yourself alive anymore. And since you have so much base damage, I think Satanic would be a really great item for him to pick up. Or, you know, get a Mjolnir or something like that, but he already shipped out the Maelstrom. But top lane, pretty nice pick off here onto the Centaur. He has a heart, and he's pretty tanky, but he's definitely not tanky enough. They're going to burn a lot of spells to kill him, but they will bring him down at the end. With Orange to hold the fort down bottom, he actually doesn't have Boots of Travels or anything like that, but he does have the Cleave and the Crit. They're going to send a creep wave into the top tier 3 tower, but MiTH Trust, they can't get anything off of that. Again, they don't have any pushing power with these heroes. They just have hero fighting and hero killing power, so without their Ember Spirit, they can't go for this just yet. They're still going to continue to play it slow, which I still maintain might benefit them, but a little bit less so since they've lost a set of Raxes.
And I think really the bigger reason why taking this slow is not going to benefit them is the Ember Spirit has the same amount of farm as the Mirana, which is not a slight as, oh, down in bottom, the Nature's Prophet trying to solve this Ember Spirit with the BKB. I think he's going to be fine, and he will, but at least force out the BKB charge coming out from the Ember Spirit. If they catch out this kill, however, it could be completely different, as with the Brewmaster Bane and everybody, they're not going to find him. There's the vacuum to break the trees, and now the Nature's Prophet, he's going to be ripped to shreds. I did not think he'd go for that, and that was a very risky move that gets punished by MiTH Trust.
And Nature's Prophet has no buyback, not for another 2 minutes and 50 seconds, so MiTH Trust, they could go for Roshan right now. They could even just go straight for high ground. Really, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of what they think is a little bit more important. Looks like they're going to go for Roshan. They could probably get both, quite honestly. It's 70 seconds where the Nature's Prophet's down, and bottom lane is pushed out pretty far. So MiTH, they do use the BKB on the Ember Spirit, but it will be restored back in just a little bit. They're going to clear Roshan and then go for the high ground push. Without this Nature's Prophet, I don't know if Mineski actually have enough damage in order to defend this. I mean, SD as well as Lakel's, they're far from 6-slotted. They're pretty balanced as far as the farm, as you were saying, but with the Aegis and Cheese now on their person, it's going to be pretty dangerous for Mineski. It's going to be 50 seconds of holdout time, and it's going to be even worse if Jacko gets picked off right here. Kaneki is leading the charge, has a Hex, and he will Surge, Hex, and now Jacko. There is a Grip as well. There it is. Not going to misclick on the Ogre Bruiser, and Jacko's going to be brought down. No BKB on him. Does he have buyback? He does. H Prophet up in 30 seconds, so MiTH, though they do get the kill on the DK, that he will be able to buy back, and Mineski might be able to make a defense off of this, actually.
Yeah, I think so. They have to wait 20 seconds before the Nature's Prophet is there, but I think that'll be enough time before they actually lose the full lane. They might lose their 2-3, but I think they'll be able to at least attempt a defense. But no, they jump out of the Rubik, play hard. He's caught in the backlines. They'll force stuff away. The arrow is going to miss, and the Brewmaster does not throw out his ultimate yet. And, well, BKB, he has the ultimate available, going to clap first, and now they get the double chains. They're completely zoning him out from this barracks. The fight is breaking out next to the fountain, actually, as everybody's kind of trapped in. The Nature's Prophet TPing to the enemy base. They're going to go for a trade here as, oh, they find Lakel's. Lakel's is dropping very low. Will they actually be able to right-click him down with the Mirana ultimate? No, they won't. And BKB, TP out. Looks like Nature's Prophet will be fine as BKB's very short duration, however, and they might be able to get Oa here. Oa forced after the high ground. He's going to not get caught up by the vacuum. They're looking for him with the Bane. The arrow is going to miss as well. More blinks, and he'll be fine. Tier 3 falls in the favor of MiTH. They almost lose their Ember Spirit, but high ground defended, question mark. No big 5-on-5 engagement, but attempts at the pickoffs.
How the hell did nobody die there? That is just,
I don't know.
That is just baffling. Centaur was on the bottom lane the entire time, just trying to rat people back. He almost took down a tier 4 tower, brought both of them down fairly low, in fact, but ultimately Mineski, they were the ones who had to make that defense, and they avoided the fight for the most part. Brewmaster jumped the gun and way ahead of his team. Got the split off, yes, but he didn't have any team to follow up on, and they were forced back. MiTH, they had to teleport back to the base. Again, that lane of Raxes being so instrumental for Mineski in that last fight, even though the fight did happen in the mid lane. Losing tier 3 tower is not a big deal at all at this stage. It's all about losing those Raxes, and even then, still not a huge deal. So this game is going to continue. 57 minutes in, and we're still trucking along, and this game is still remarkably even. Less than a 10k gold advantage going either way. Experience firmly in control of MiTH at this point. But Mineski, they're still sitting pretty, as now big items being picked up for the MiTH side. Desolator for the Mirana, and the crit, or the big crit, on the Ember Spirit. So these items are getting pretty scary for them, but still, they have to worry about the back door.
Yeah, they definitely do. Ember Spirit, this is his first big item since the Battle Fury that he got like 30 minutes ago, or at least it feels that long. But yeah, Lakel's, he's finally going to start hitting hard, although at this point you'd like to see him get close to being 6-slotted. There's still room to grow on MiTH's side, and they also have the Mirana that's a very potent carry at this point with Mjolnir as well as Desolator. She's going to be hitting pretty hard, as well as giving that extra buff for the Ember Spirit to hit even harder. We still have the Aegis available for the Ember Spirit, and they might be able to take another fight in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, I don't see them actually forcing a high ground.
Yeah, I think MiTH are just going to continue on with their let's play it slow strategy. Even their supports going to get some nice items. If Bane picks up this Heaven's Halberd, that would be huge to cancel out the Nature's Prophet, who again only has a 4-second BKB. Darkseer's been applying his Lincoln Sphere to the Brewmaster and to the DK, who to the Ember Spirit rather. But yeah, some really nice items coming up from the MiTH support, and really I would say that Bane is the only support for MiTH at this point in time. The Mirana, for all intents and purposes, is another carry, another core, at least with her level of farm. Moonlight Shadow for MiTH, and they're not going to find anyone, but they're going to just go for it. They have a little bit more time on this Aegis, and it looks like they really want this set of Raxes, and at the very least equalize this score up. Ember Spirit to the front lines, and there we go. MiPro's going to jump in for the clap onto the Centaur, but it's not the person you want to go for. Now the Stampede going to get everyone from Mineski very far away, but that means their Raxes have no one to defend them. That's going to be the melee Rax at the very, very least. Cyclone up onto the Rubik. Brewmaster just running interference for the rest of the team as they take down the Raxes. MiTH, they jump in, they bust down the Raxes, and now they're going to leave. There's an arrow from Playhard. It could potentially pick someone off. Now there's the blink forward for actually just a sleight of fist. MiPro does get hit with the arrow in the end, and Jacko and the BKB going to try to focus down this Brewmaster with Mineski's Nature's Prophet with the MKP. They can do this, however. The wall is down. Won't hit out to anyone, however. They take down the Bane. That's the only one. Not a really huge priority kill for either end. Brewmaster split now stolen by the Rubik, actually. He's going to chase MiTH Trust all the way back. Ember Spirit going to land, and he will slide a fist for a little bit more invulnerability time. Now a nice clap from MyPro, however, he will get stunned up. This is going to be the death of the Brewmaster. Jacko's still alive, and the Nature's Prophet still firing away. They're going to catch Mirana as well. BKB not going to help her there. Lakel's on the way out, but it looks like Mineski, they can still fight this one. Blink forward for a Sprout onto Lakel's. Has no more spirits. This is going to be his Aegis. Surge stolen by Rubik, and Kaneki, only stuck in the trees, will get stomped up. Are they going to go for the Darkseer or the Ember Spirit or both? There's a Dragon Tail onto Lakel's. They're going to bring him down. The Hex onto the Nature's Prophet, though, going to slow it down, but they will get him in the end. And Kaneki, he's going to be brought down by the Centaur Double Edge. Mineski take a full sweep, and the base for MiTH is in full breach. Darkseer is going to be forced to buy back. Does anyone else have a buyback? Yes, the Ember Spirit does, and that's it. Ember Spirit needs to buy back now, because Mineski, they're going to look for the GG push at this point.
Yeah, I thought that would be a clear retreat, but it's definitely not going to be. So as Ember Spirit wanted to use his Aegis a little too bad, blink forward, they're going to get their second lane of racks. And this is going to equalize the mid lane. They do have a glyph to delay things for 5 seconds, but without the Brewmaster and Mirana, that's a lot of their fighting potential. And on the front line, Centaur Warner doesn't really care with the Heart of Tarask available. He's going to get Nightmared up, but the Nature's Prophet now takes the range barracks. This might force Mineski back, and I'm not sure if they can commit for more. They vacuum back the Centaur, but 4 step away will keep him relatively safe. As Noki pokes his face in, they will surge away the Centaur.
So the mid lane is now pretty much a wash, so Mineski still holding that 1 lane of Rax advantage. MiTH Trust, they got tagged with the arrow. They could have just left the Brewmaster for dead, and I think that probably would have been the correct decision. Just everyone completely bail out of there. I guess they figured they had the Aegis on the Ember Spirit, and if you're going to take a fight, it should be with that Aegis on that hero. But again, the Nature's Prophet received no focus, and MiTH Trust, they took a fight without the Brewmaster split. If MiTH Trust continue to do that, I mean, this is the second time now. It hasn't worked the first time, it won't work the second time, and I can promise it won't work the third. MiTH Trust, they're holding on to 1 set of Raxes left, but this game still really could go either way depending on how these fights pan out and the decisions that are made within those fights.
Yeah. I'm going to say that the fights are going to be easier for Mineski, especially with a refresh BKB on your Nature's Prophet. That's 10 seconds of Magic Community. Now with Shiva's Guard and the Centaur, they just have more farm all around, despite MiTH Trust having more cores, arguably. But this Rubik is still holding his weight pretty effectively with an Aghanim Scepter. Whenever he gets his hands on something like the Brewmaster Split or Darkseer Wall, that can be pretty important. I don't know, he's also going to get a Scythe Device very soon, as, oh, they jump up top, they get a lift on the Mirana. Where's the follow-up? They're looking for the split, but the BKBs come out, and this is where the fight's going to break. They are going to bring in the Nature's Prophet. He's TPing in, trying to focus down the Mirana here, but he's caught between too many enemy heroes. They don't have the backup, and he's going to be the one to die. He has buyback available, and he's going to use that as the fight is breaking out. The split comes out from the Radiant team. They focus down the Mirana. She's the first one to die. The grip going the way of Jacko. Jacko is going to fall to the right click. The wall is down, spreading this out pretty effectively. The vacuum stolen by the Rubik. They're just trying to fight as much as they can. The Ember Spirit's not connecting out of heroes, and I have no idea what's actually going on after this. It looks like it's just going to be a back off from both sides.
So that was DK going down in exchange for the Mirana. Nature's Prophet also forced to buy back, so ultimately that was a 2-for-1 in favor of MiTH. That wall being so very useful in order to split the fight and also do a lot of damage. They got an illusion of Nature's Prophet, who once again was not focused, or once he died for the first time because he was out of position, he wasn't focused, so MiTH Trust, that's the kind of fight that they would really like to take. Use the wall to your advantage and use the split to your advantage as well. Then, though, they're actually going to go back in. Nature's Prophet, still with that Blink Dagger, he's going to keep himself safe for now. But, oh man, this game sits on the edge of a knife, and it could go either way still. 44-44, 64 minutes into the game. And Mineski, the wall is going to be slowly becoming, for MiTH, one of the most important skills for Kaneki to land. Like, Hex is great and everything, but if you wall the Nature's Prophet and the DK and get that Assault Cuirass aura, something like that, that could be huge. That could be game-winning for the MiTH Trust side.
As little as the graphs actually tell us about how this game is actually going to pan out as far as leads are concerned, if you take a look at experience, it's almost exactly 0. Although this doesn't really mean anything, it's just incredible to see this late into the game.
Alright, so let's take a quick item sweep once again as Rubik does pick up a sheep stick for himself. Nothing new on the Nature's Prophet, and Jesse Vash unfortunately not getting to that tanky point that we would really like to see a Leshrac get at this point. Centaur got the Shiva's Guard, Jacko not with anything except for a small Chrysalis on him. He's saving for buyback as well, he should, But once he gets Daedalus, then the DK is going to be able to put out some pretty serious damage, because right now DK is mostly just a disruptive hero. He's sitting in the middle of everything, trying to slow everyone down with his ultimate, but that's about it. Now, on the Ember Spirit, he's actually holding on to an ultimate orb, so not really sure what this is going to be for him.
I'm going to assume Scotty, but I don't like the item choice. I think he just needs more damage.
Yeah, like Daedalus #2 or Battle Fury #2 or something along those lines. The stats are going to be very useful, but it's only going to have limited usefulness. And well, now they're going to go for Roshan. This is Roshan #5, I want to say.
That sounds about right. I think this is our third cheese, yeah. Or I've lost track. This is a long game.
Yeah, the cheese we used by Mirana in the last fight did keep her alive, and well, now they're going to jump forward, look for a Hex. Blink, blink, blink. Don't blink. There we go. We're good. Roshan is still going to be this fight. I think whoever takes this Roshan, I don't want to say takes the game, but is definitely going to take, at the very least, a set of racks is an advantage. Oh, arrow. Landing onto Jesse Vash. They're going to circle around. The clap and the split is unnecessary right now. Force Staff #1 is used. Force Staff #2, Jesse Bash still under a lot of pressure. There's a split finally, but this is exactly what Mineski want. They ready to stampede in the split. Will it catch anyone? They throw up the Centaur up into the air. Walls deployed. Will kill off the Lishrak, but not a big deal. Now the BKB on the Centaur. He'll get gripped up instantly. Though it will be hexed by Playhard, so Centaur might be able to survive. He's very tanky. Look at everyone from MiTH trying to bring down this horse, and they will be able to bring him down. But does he have buyback? He does not have buyback. Actually, Playhard caught in the middle of this as well. Stole the split. Was able to get it off actually just in the nick of time. No cast animation there. MyPro gonna get hit with the boulder, but the Rubik crucially does get to survive. Nature's Prophet split pushing top lane all the while, where the Rubik this time as the Brewmaster, he's running interference. There's only the Mirana to defend against this top lane. They're gonna teleport everyone back, at least anyone that they can. The top lane, it will be defended. It looks like Mineski, they lose a couple heroes here and there, but that should be the end of it. Kaneki needs to be lifted. Not going to happen. No vision or something. MyPro's still in an awkward position as Lakelz does rejoin the fight. They're going to try to go for Jacko, but he pops the BKB, and now he's going to go to town to Lakelz, dropping a little bit fast, but now the Hex onto Micro with the Fade Bolt as well. Noki is in this area, but he's not going to last very long. There's the death of the Bane, MyPro. Dragon Tail, not available just yet, though. He is stuck in the Sprout, though. He is invisible. Is there really no True Sight? Guys, come on, get the True Sight. Radiance Courier did go down. That was holding the rest of the Heaven's Halberd, in fact. But Mineski, they don't lose anything too big. Their Centaur is going to respawn naturally, and well, at the end of the day, nothing game-winning for either side.
Buyback on Lakelz could be important in the next fight, and it's also going to stop any item progression, but into Roshan they're going to go. MiTH want to take this fight. Or do they? I don't know. They're going to try for it, and I think they're going to be able to get this before there's a reaction coming up from Mineski. They're just too sprawled out, and they have enough damage to take this insanely fast. And they will do so. That's going to be your Aegis for Ember Spirit, which will make up for his lack of buyback in the fights. That's also your 6th Roshan, or wait, 5th, I don't know. That's another cheese going the way of... Who actually picked that up? Rana.
Yeah, so Mirana has herself another cheese. It was... The first one was used pretty well. It got her up from red HP, and didn't get to look at the exact number amount, but she stayed alive off of that one. But oh man, this game is razor thin. But DK ultimately getting a lot of gold off of all those fights, and Rubik stealing the exact spell that he needed to survive. Ultimately did get out of there. You do get the Aghanims upgrade for the Brewmaster, because Rubik does have that Aghanims, and that's a crucial upgrade to have. It lets you put out a lot more damage, get that Drunken Haze off. I don't know if Playhard got that skill off. It's a very subtle animation, but if he did, then it would be pretty nice as far as, you know, just chasing down and disrupting those fights. Unfortunately, he doesn't have it any longer. He's Stolen Feeble, which is going to be very nice versus this Ember Spirit. Dropping him down to pretty much just his base damage is going to certainly be very useful. MiTH Trust, they're going to have to worry about their top lane. Nature's Prophet was ratting that out for a very long time while that fight was breaking out. So MiTH Trust, as long as they keep this lane pushed out, they should be fine. And as long as they pick off the Rubik, they're not going to find him. Surge from the Darkseer. They're going to jump forward. Hex onto the Centaur. Can they bring him down? It'll take a very long time. There's the grip. The arrow is going to connect as well, and the Centaur is as good as dead. He has no buyback because he bought Boots of Travel. Lakel's going to double jump forward, looking for the Rubik. Won't find him. But this is a huge opening for MiTH Trust to take, at the very least, another set of Raxes, knowing that the Centaur is down. That means no Stampede. Oh, they're actually going to catch the Rubik as well. Double jump from Lakel's. Will land the chains as well, and Playhard. Looks like he's going to slowly burn down. Has a Force Staff, but the arrow It was going to hit, but they kill off the Rubik regardless. They have to teleport back, though, because the bottom lane is pushing.
I don't know, casually leave the gem in the enemy base, or enemy woods, that's fine. I don't know. Nobody else could actually pick that up, and yeah, the pressure will force them back. Still, a win for MiTH, although it's not going to lead into anything just yet. Still, anybody's game. Everybody has pretty much anything they want as far as levels are concerned. Dragon Knight's going to get pretty scary as far as a right-clicking hero is concerned, with that Daedalus pickup that he should finish pretty soon. But yeah, MiTH are going to push down the mid lane. They don't have a lane of barracks to take, however they could rotate bottom, or no, rather top. Bottom still has a tier 2 tower, very surprisingly.
Yeah, and it just hasn't been much of an opportunity for MiTH to get that far down the lane since they lost the Raxes so early on, so that tower is probably going to be up for a good while. So unless MiTH take a decisive fight and then slide to the tier 2 and then slide up the lane to the Raxes, it's probably going to be just a GG push for them, if it does come down to that. Top lane is viable, but right now they're just going to put a couple of creeps into the base. Mineski, got to be careful about this initiation power, but this is pretty much a bluff from MiTH Trust since they actually don't have any intentions of going for the tier 4. They will shred the tier 3, however. That's going to be a free one for them. SD absolutely trucking with the amount of damage putting out, now wielding a crit. They're blink forward from Jacko. BKB up on Lakel's though. They're going to man fight this one. Jacko with the lifesteal is going to keep himself pretty safe, and here comes the Centaur. Stampeded forward. Not going to land Hoofstomp onto much, but Lakel's going to get with the double edge. Hasn't Aegis though, so he's not really going to care. DK now going to get an illusion made for MiTH. This is going to be a huge factor in this upcoming fight, and Lakel's will use his Aegis as well. Play hard. Getting caught in the middle of everything. Can't split out this time. He's going to go down. Force staff. Wrong way for the DK. He's going to be forced to buy back, but the base for MiTH is in full breach. Nature Prophet, though, is taking the top set of Raxes. They're just going to go for the GG MiTH Trust. Their Raxes, the Mineski Raxes, are under siege, and Kaneki going to get stunned up. They're going to focus down the Nature Prophet, though. Does he have buyback? He will use it instantly. The top lane Raxes have been claimed, though. This is going to be Mega Creeps, and, well, MiTH Trust, they might be able to tie this top lane Rax, but still they can't go for bottom. They're going to be warded off for now. But Mineski, they do hold. They keep their melee racks alive up on top, and they crucially get the Mega Creeps. Leshrac still in the enemy base, going for the Ancient. MiTH Trust, they don't have enough heroes at this point. Mineski, they're going to force all of them back, try to disrupt the TPs back. In fact, Mirana doesn't even have one herself. MyPro will successfully push out the Leshrac out of the base, but the damage has already been done. There's Mega Creeps, and now SD going to get double edged by the Centaurs. He pops the second Stampede of this fight. The Darkseer does teleport back to the base, but is it over? Mineski took the Mega Creeps. Can MiTH Trust defend against this?
If they're able to win this game, it will be the first game in a competitive Dota match that I've ever seen somebody come back from Mega Creeps. There was a glimmer of hope, but then with the buyback on the Nature's Prophet, it kind of shut it out. He did die in the beginning of that fight, but then once the buyback came, they were able to bring down the Ember Spirit, who does not have buyback, since he was already forced to spend it. And yeah, Mega Creeps exposed Ancient. This game just got a whole heck of a lot harder. Buyback from the Mirana. It's going to take a lot for MiTH to actually win a fight, because any fight they're going to take is going to be close to their base. I don't think there's very much hope that they'll actually be able to push out against these creeps. Even in the mid lane, they're still going to be overtaken by these super mega ultra creeps that don't have a new model yet.
They have... oh wait, mid lane, looks like just a little bit of a squabble there, but they have a Mirana with a Mjolnir, who's, you know, pretty good at killing creeps as far as heroes are concerned. They also have an Ember Spirit, who is one of the best heroes at killing off creeps of this caliber, but not when he doesn't have many items. Again, this Ember Spirit, take a quick look at his net worth. It's only 19k versus the near 30k of the heroes that are closer to being 6-slotted. So the Ember Spirit, if he had 2 more items, another Daedalus, another Battle Fury, let's say, then these Mega Creeps will be chopped up pretty quickly by that hero, and Mineski are going to still have to work a little bit harder for this. But seeing as though the Ember Spirit isn't really a giant threat, I think Mineski can just afford to play this one super slow. And, well, this time it's going to be MiTH Trust who are going to be unwilling to play that game, because as this game progresses, it's going to be harder and harder. Wow, full Dagon 5 on the Brewmaster? Really? Okay. Doesn't exactly help you kill Mega Creeps, except for one poor unlucky Mega Creep, but Mineski, they're just going to wait for all the heroes to group up together, maybe look for a pick-off, but that's going to be very, very difficult to have happen. They have a lot of items, and I think it's just a matter of time before they go for their death push.
Yeah, I don't know, top, they're going to find Kaneki here. It's the Centaur pretty much soloing him up, and that's no buyback on your Darkseer. I think that's the opening Mineski need, just barrel down mid. Roshan is quite a ways away before respawning, and I don't think they actually have to wait for anything. But as you said, they can take this pretty slow and steady. As far as the Brewmaster stacking, I would have liked to see a Mjolnir, and honestly, Battle Fury would probably be better, just so that they can actually push out against these creeps. But yeah, jump in onto the Rubik Playhard. He's going to throw the Nightmare the way of MyPro, and they might be able to find him the arrow. Oh, it's actually going to land on Playhard in the backlines. Not sure what's going on in the fight, but they will have a 1-for-1 trade, and now the buyback in the Darkster, but the base is not looking healthy. Down to half. They need to kill this, but the Nature's Prophet here to backdoor it. Blink to the side. He's going to ignore things. Just BKB hit the throne, and it's going to be GG towards Mineski. I lagged out the very end, but that's the throne to fall. Mega Creeps proved to be too much for MiTH Trust there, although that game was anybody's up until the very end.
What a frickin' game, guys. What a game. Mineski, they were the underdogs in this game, but they just barely managed to pull it out. Oh man, alright, so this is going to be the end of game 1 in this best of 2, so there's going to be one more game played, so we're going to see if MiTH can tie it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to follow the stream, but other than that, don't go anywhere, because game number 2 is going to be coming right up, and let's hope it's half as epic as game number 1.